Hello guys and welcome back to my channel. In the latest days I've been trying some strip build for World vs World for the Reaper, because the Scourge was kinda nerfed in every aspect basically, so I kinda wanted to figure out a new build for the Reaper, since Reaper has this trait right here, the Path of Corruption, which corrupts 2 boons to conditions, while the Scourge only corrupts 1, and also the F2 from the Scourge was really nerfed a lot in the latest patch, making it 18 seconds cooldown instead of 10, so it's a big nerf. And I think that the Path of Corruption also on the Reaper, it can hit up to 5 targets, while the Scourge is only 2 targets. So I think it was worth it to try some Reaper build. This Reaper build I will discuss today already existed before the previous nerfs of the Scourge, but still it didn't really find a place in the meta, because the Scourge was too much ahead. Like, every skill from the Scourge was very easy to land and to cast, it didn't have cast time and so on, so it was really easy to hit and to be in a very top corruption compared to other classes, even just by walking around and dodging around and pressing your F1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and every well and the ghastly breach. So after the Scourge was nerfed, I thought I could try some new build. So basically this is the trait lines. We run Spite. Here we need some reduced recharge on our axe skills. We have Chill of Death for a less spinal shiver. Every 16 seconds we have a free spinal shivers, which does no damage. And also we run Spiteful Spirit. Whenever we enter the shroud, we cast a cloud around us, which remove a boon from the enemies. And also, if these enemies are below the 50% health threshold, we remove an additional boon. So it is a very nice trait. On the curses, I run Insidious Disruption, because disabling a foe inflicts torments on them, so we do a lot of disable when we convert the stability to fear. And an additional condition may be crucial. Let's say we apply torment, the enemy will remove a condition, and instead of removing like immobilize or chill or some very important condition, they will remove our simple stack of torment, and so they will keep the immobilize on them and they will die to it. But instead, if you don't want to run this trait because you fear you won't be able to profit from this, just run Plague Sending, which makes your first attack and after entering Shroud transfers conditions, 2 conditions. It is a nice trait actually also this, so it's your choice. Here we run Path of Corruption, which basically makes our F2 corrupts 2 boons to conditions on our enemies. Our F2, as you see, is a lot of hits and a final big hit. So the final big hit is the one which corrupts the boons to conditions, so be always careful to hit it, because it's really crucial, as you will see in my gameplay, to hit this skill right here, the final hit of this skill, to be the top corrupts on your squad, and also dealing a lot of damage, because the last hit deals like 3 times the first 8 hits together. So it is very important, and it is also a low cooldown skill. Here we run Lingering Curse, which makes our beloved skill 3 from the Scepter do an AoE which corrupts 1 boon. This was nerfed to 18 seconds right now, so it was a big nerf, but still it's okay. On the Reaper we can run this one right here for making our shouts siphon health. I wouldn't recommend it, but it is a bit of more to sustain and also a bit damage. Here we get an explosion which makes a shield on our enemies once every 10 seconds when you critical hit. And also Relentless Pursuit reduces duration of movement impairing condition, additional reduction while in Reaper Shroud. I think this is one of the best traits in the game. Like when you are in Shroud, immobilize, cripple and chill will only last like 66% less, so 34% than the original duration. Very strong trait. And also very strong while you are not in Shroud, because 33% duration decrease is very strong. Then here we run the damage dealer, Soul Eater, because the other two traits are simply not worth it. And then we run the Reaper Onslaught, which gives us some ferocity and quickness. While we are in Shroud, we need both ferocity and both quickness. And hitting with Life Rip reduces the recharge time of Shroud skill. So this makes our out attack from the Shroud, the third chain, Life Rip, very important, because hitting it will reduce the recharge of every Shroud skill by 1 second. So you can enter Shroud, use your skill 2, 4, 3, 5 or whatever you need, then you just cast the out attacks, which also do a huge damage, don't forget it, and you will also reduce the recharge of the 2, 3, 4 and 5 skill. The 5 skill is mostly not used in War vs World because it is only single target. So now let's get into the gears. The gears are like full Marauder. As you can see, Marauder. We run a Superior Rune of the Eagle. On the Scepter we run Absorption. On the Focus we run Frenzy for additional cooldown reductions and more corruption spam. We run on the Axe, we run Absorption. And on the Warhorn we run Frenzy. Then here we still have all Marauder, because we need a lot of precision. And also just aim to reach like 80% critical chance, because once you enter Shroud, you have Fury, you get 20% critical hit chance. So you just need 80 plus 20 from the Fury. Don't forget, we don't have Soul Reaping in this build, which gave us 15% critical chance. So it was very important. So how do you use this build? I recommend entering Shroud while you are in melee, of course, and also to trigger this trait right here, the Spiteful Spirit, of course. And while you are in Shroud, you should most of the time be doing your skill 2, which is the Spin, which at the end will apply the Boon Corruption, which is a big AoE at the end of the spin, and 2 boons per target will be corrupted to conditions. Then you should also use your skill 3 at the end, because it will apply the fear. So you cast your skill 3 for the damage reduction, you go skill 2, you spin on them, you hopefully remove their stability, and then you fear them by pressing again the skill 3. So this is a very nice combo for a big CC chain, and it will really wreck the enemy if you manage to hit him, hit them. And also the skill 4 of course is a big damage dealer, but this build is not a very huge damage dealer because it doesn't have soul reaping, and most of the traits are for the corruption only. We also lose this trait right here, the close to death, which is 50% more damage to 20% more damage to enemies below 50% HP. We run the focus and the scepter together for a big single target damage. You can use your skill 3 to corrupt, and then your skill 4 to remove 3 more boons and also do a big damage. And then on the axe and warhorn we run the skill 3, which is the first priority skill on your axe. You just swap weapon to axe and you immediately press your skill 3 most of the time. Your skill 4 is an unblockable CC which applies fears, and of course will trigger your superior sigil of absorption if you interrupt an enemy. Your skill 5 is to do some damage and to get some life force. Your healing skill is for life force. Then we run the wells, of course, and then chilled to the bone, and nothing can save you. Nothing can save you should be always used before your skill 3 on axe, so it becomes unblockable and you will hit it for sure, or before your skill 3 on the scepter, so it gets unblockable too, and you will remove for sure 5 boons and convert them to conditions. Or even in another case you can use nothing can save you before chilled to the bone, so you are sure to hit it and you get a lot of quickness if you are on melee, like 6 seconds per target hit, and also stability. And also you are sure maybe if the enemy has no stability to interrupt them for 3 seconds, and also if you are very close to the enemy, like melee radius is 240, you will stun them for 4 seconds. So it is a very huge stun if you hit it, and if your enemy doesn't get stun break by their guardians or whatever. So now let's get to the commentary. Okay, this is the gameplay. I will comment it. There are like 3 or 4 fights in this gameplay. It is a short gameplay, but this is not the purpose of this video. The video is supposed to teach and explain a build. I will start maybe uploading some gameplays only video in the future, but not for now. So this is like 2 minutes gameplay, which I will explain in detail. Okay, let's get into it. Okay, we have our enemies in front right here. I cast my wells because we are going to double dodge into the enemies. So I double dodge following the commander. I use my nothing can save you. I enter shroud, I use skill 3 and immediately use it again. So I cast a fear on my enemies and hopefully I remove a stack of stability, or I remove an aegis, or maybe I even apply fear or interrupt the enemies. Then I start my spin to win, the skill 4. Then we are about to leap into the enemies right here, and I go with the skill 2 onto them. It's a bit risky. You see my life force immediately going out. Then I go chilled to the bones to stun them since I have melee, and maybe I also get some stability and quickness or interrupts on my enemies. I use my skill 3 from the scepter, immediately swap to axe and immediately skill 3, which is the most important skill from the axe, of course. Then skill 5 and skill 4 for an additional interrupt. Skill 2 for some more life force generation, and then nothing can save you. Immediately go to shroud because it is ready again, and I have also full life force. Skill 2 onto these downies, and then I follow my commander. I have skill 2 ready again and I use it. Maybe I mistargeted, but still I used my skill 2 and removed some boons from enemies. I have skill 2 again ready. See how much important are the auto attacks to reset the skill 2 and the skill 4. Now I spin to win, auto attacks again, and my skill 2 is ready again and I use it again. You see how many corrupts I do just by using the skill 2, which is really fundamental in this build. So sometimes you just enter shroud and you use your skill 2, and after that you might not need to prioritize your skill 4 because your auto attacks are more valuable most of the time if you are full melee and the enemies can tank them. So if you hit your third chain of your auto attacks will reduce the cooldown of every other skill from the shroud, and so you will spam more corruptions with your skill 2. Skill 4 is very nice if the enemies are moving and they are scattered all around you. If the enemies are in front of you, the auto attacks are better in this build, especially because our target here is to corrupt and not to do damage. The damage is good, but is not insane like the full power Reaper with spite and soul reaping instead of spite and curses. Okay, so the enemies here are done. Here, this is another fight. You can use your skill 4 from the Warhorn, which is also ignore any line of sight, so you can use it even from behind a wall. And then I use nothing can save you and chill to the bone. I didn't interrupt anyone, but it is okay. I enter shroud and skill 2 immediately. Skill 4, you see I have many enemies all around me. The skill 4 is the best in these cases, and also you can move while using it. Thank God it is not channeled and doesn't lock you in place. Then you can just fill in with your auto attacks. I also stay in shroud right here because my health is very low right now, and 3k it will almost be one shot, so just stay in shroud. And then I use my skill 2 again, a bit risky. I get healed by my allies, I also heal myself. I keep following my commander. I use nothing can save you, so my next skill 3 from the scepter will be unblockable. You see the stacks of unblockable. Always make sure to not use your nothing can save you while your wells are down, because your wells, even if they are unblockable, they will consume your unblockable stacks from nothing can save you. So always try to use your nothing can save you when the wells are not on the ground and you are ready to use your skill 3 from scepter or your skill 3 from axe or shield to the bone, which is another very nice skill if you make it unblockable. Okay, skill 3, you saw I hit it because I had unblockable stacks and I also interrupt a guy. Then I immediately follow the commander because I was a bit behind with my skill 2, and also I targeted of course an enemy with skill 2, and the final explosion from this leap applied a AoE corrupt, fill in without attacks. I leave my shroud. Maybe I should have waited a bit. You see I don't have my skill 3 on the scepter, and the swap to axe is on cooldown by 2 seconds or something like that. Now I swap to axe, skill 3, skill 5, the fight is done. Okay, this is another interesting fight. So I jump onto the enemy, skill 2, immediately nothing can save you, skill 3, I drop my wells, and right now I don't have any more unblockable stacks, so I use my skill 3, skill 4 for additional unblockable fear and interrupt, and maybe with the sigil of absorption I will steal some boons. Skill 6 for doing some damage and some life force. Okay, this was a very risky move, but still I managed to land my skill 2 on 5 enemies. You see also how big the damage is, even if this build is not very big damage. Okay, now I am in a very bad spot. I managed to go back to my commander. Okay, I'm fine again. Skill 3, maybe I should have used my nothing can save you before my skill 3, so it was unblockable, but I guess it's okay for now. We decide to go back up to the Lord. Okay, this is another segment from that fight. I cut the stuff in between because there was nothing interesting. We basically just killed the Lord. Okay, we cap the tower and the enemies are stuck on the ramp for the Lord, and we go on to them. I cast my Well of Corruption and my skill 2 from the Shroud, skill 4. You see how many enemies we have around, scattered all around. This was a very cloudy fight, so it was not easy to cast my skill 2. Like the first 2 or 3 clips, it was very easy to cast my skill 2 because the enemies were very stacked, but if the enemies are like very scattered and cloudy, this build is not super effective, to be honest. So it is very good against big blobs which move together all together. Okay, fill in with my auto attacks, skill 2, apply a corrupt and big damage at the end of the leap, skill 3 from the axe, skill 5, and basically it restarted. Okay, this is it for the gameplay, for the gameplay commentary, of course, and I already showed you the build and the gears. So this is it for this video. I hope to see you on to the next video, and please consider subscribing and liking my videos if you like them, of course. Thank you for watching and see you on to the next video. Bye!